All right, what's going on, guys? Trev back again here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing just a quick little fun one. Recently here in Canada, as you guys know, I am Canadian, our Prime Minister, who's basically the equivalent of like our President, Justin Trudeau, Castro, went ahead and addressed flat earthers on the internet. So, that's like us. So dangerous corners of the internet. So, in the immortal words of Darkwing Duck, let's get dangerous. Okay, so we're gonna watch the clip. Really funny. Why did this happen? I don't know. It was this week, so I decided let's go ahead and take a quick look. The clip is only like a couple of minutes. I don't know if he's talking to some firefighters or something. It looks like it. I'll have to find where the clip is taken from exactly. But it's really funny. It seems like they had a kid ask him some questions about the dangers of different parts of the internet, and his response, instead of talking about, gambling or like prawn or, all these other things online, which definitely you can understand for kids, is, seriously a danger. You don't want, kids that are, well, to be honest, probably nobody should be engaged in some of these activities. People, gambling if they can't afford it and things like this, and the others, dark web parts of the internet is true. But what does he touch on? No, he doesn't talk about any of that. He goes on a rant about flat earthers on the internet. So we gotta gotta check it out. Really funny. So he gets fascinated. He starts off. So the kid finishes asking the question, and he's going to say that he gets fascinated by the idea of flat earthers. So let's let him.
I got fascinated with the idea of flat earthers. Now, this is an entirely new phenomenon. There wasn't really any moment back in recorded history, not the ancient Greeks or the ancient Babylonians or the Incas or whoever else, who actually wondered whether the earth was actually flat or not.
Now, the person has edited in some clips of different, groups over time that and kind of their depiction of the world. So as you can see, it's major.
Christopher Columbus, they knew the earth was round. There was no danger he was going to fall off the edge of the world. That wasn't what people worried about when he was setting off to discover the Americas or discover a shortcut to India. But recently, over the past few years, a whole bunch of people have decided that the world is flat.
You hear that, guys? We just decided that it was flat, and be it so. We formed a committee. Okay, we have a committee, and we have decided and we have declared that we have determined that the Earth is indeed flat.
Now, everything we know about science, from the people we've sent to the moon.
Why has nobody been to the moon in such a long time?
So they edited in this clip about going to the moon, men on the moon, that whole thing, with Buzz Lightyear. You guys have seen this clip before, I imagine. This little girl asks Buzz Aldrin, Buzz Lightyear, why haven't they gone back? And he kind of says like, because we didn't go there, and that's how it happened. You see, now people use this as like a thing. Whatever. I don't care. You guys know my take on the moon landing.
That's not an 8-year-old's question. That's my question. I want to know, but I think I know. Because we didn't go there, and that's the way it happened. And if it didn't happen, it's nice to know why it didn't happen, so in the future, if we want to keep doing something, we need to know why something stopped in the past that we wanted to keep it going. But I think I know. Because we didn't.
To the photos.
Now, in fairness, he's kind of saying like we didn't go back after they finished the initial, all the missions they did. Starting in the late 60s there, and that with Apollo 11 and continuing on afterwards. So, but people use that as a clip. We put it in. I thought I would, just leave it. That's fine. Different discussion, but definitely related to the concept of geocentrism versus heliocentrism, and the primary two models of discussion for the Earth.
We've taken from space to how we explain day versus night and seasons. We know that the Earth is round. But
So it's round in both models, just to be clear here. So in both geocentrism and heliocentrism, the Earth is round. The question is whether or not it's round like a coin, or is it round like a sphere? So in both cases, it's round, all right? But in the heliocentric model, it's a sphere, and it orbits around the sun, with the sun being the center. And in geocentrism and in Genesis, in creation, and most religions, geocentrism is where basically it's round like a coin, and you have the luminaries, the moon and the sun, which revolve and rotate around us. So it's really a question of kind of like the classic, traditional, geocentric model, or the new heliocentric model, which is really only taken hold since the end of World War II, since the Allies won World War II. Had the Axis of won World War II, you would have geocentrism. Because the Allies won World War II, you have heliocentrism as taught out to the people through UNESCO primarily, and everything else too, the media and everything too.
there are a whole bunch of people out there who have decided that the Earth is flat. And they hang out with each other, and they find different ways
Hang out with each other.
of proving to themselves that the Earth is flat. Now, that may not seem like a very serious thing, because someone who believes the Earth is flat is not going to necessarily cause tremendous harm to everyone else. But the ability to start to believe something that simply isn't true, because enough people are telling you and reinforcing that around you, actually starts creating real problems and can bring...
You flat earth troublemakers on the internet. You hear that, RV? You hear that, Eric? We hang out with each other, apparently, even though we don't live in the same countries together. Flat Stuff Earth, you guys hear. Zoom Truth, you guys hear this, right? So Flat Earth Warriors, you guys hear this. Apparently, we've started a Flat Earth cult in his opinion, I think.
bring us as a society to very scary places. And that's why we're still very much trying to figure it out. How to make sure we're protecting people's freedom of speech and freedom of expression, and we're making sure that marginalized communities and people who are traditionally oppressed by majorities continue to be protected.
So does that make us a protected minority now? The Flat Earthers are a protected minority. Anyway, I think it's a really funny clip. He's talking about us, just to say it. Everybody online on the internet, that's all the Flat Earth channels and Flat Earthers, the ones that don't get consistently kind of deleted over and over and over again, that is, by the system. But it's really funny, man, to hear. But this is why, I tell you guys, they pay very, very close attention. And I think that they're kind of like, based on what he's saying here, and I kind of knew this already, I think that they didn't anticipate with the internet and social media, with YouTube and Google and everything else, that you would have so many people online that are kind of like, discussing these topics and discussing in what you could call like I guess a truth movement, which I don't know if I really like that term anymore. People have different opinions and varying points of view. So that's fine. But they are actually concerned about this echo chamber, they call it. In some cases, I've seen some studies where they've gone over the internet, they've noted down everybody they consider to be right-wing, and they've called them right-wing echo chamber channels and things like this. And then, going into like 2020, they go through and they ban a whole bunch of them in sequence. The ones that are more like left-leaning, they're allowed to stay and they're fine or whatever. Maybe they get a pump in the engine. Maybe they get promoted. The ones that are feds, the ones that are agents, they get a pump, obviously. They get promoted in YouTube engine and Google. They'll get to the top right away because it's their guys, right? So the reason why they monitor this so closely is that they have a lot of, when it comes to governing mentality, governing the mind, this is something that they own basically a monopoly on, and they don't want people challenging their narratives for anything, even if it be, flat Earth, or sphere Earth, or heliocentrism, geocentrism, evolution, atheism, any of the different agendas that they have set out for their citizens, that they have laid out for how they want their citizens to think, behave, look, dress, everything else. Which is, for that, they pretty much give you examples through Hollywood, for the look and dress and what's cool and what's not cool, all that stuff through movies and media, MTV, and different channels slash companies, now social media companies like that. So it's fun stuff. It's cool. I enjoy it. I just think it's kind of funny and cool. And I'm cool with everybody, whatever you think. If you're a heliocentrist, that's no problem. If you're a geocentrist and you really like that idea, and you're like, using zoom cameras to zoom in on the sun to prove that it's not going over a curve and that it's just moving further away, that's cool, man. I like all the different stuff. I'm cool with everybody, and I just think it's fun stuff. But just so you guys know, when it comes to YouTube, when it comes to internet, social media, Facebook, and all the others, they monitor these channels like a hawk, and I think that they're not exactly certain what to do about it. Like, I think that they've got their dudes, their guys in place to counter program the opposite way. They can shadow ban, they can ban people, they can do all these things people are going against what they want. But it has brought, I think, especially in the last few years, you've heard like Klaus and some of the others talking about what they call conspiracy theorists, which is just people who don't believe them, basically. But you have him kind of talking about it, and sort of like, like we're kind of a pain in the ass for them, or we're troublemakers, because if you go against the mainstream narrative, then it can deprogram people from the programming that they're laying out via television programming and now even social media, online programming with their people that they've got, right? But they don't have everybody. So people like us, for example, we're going kind of the other way, and it pisses them off. But at the same time, they're not really sure what to do about it, because technically I'm not doing anything illegal or dangerous, and neither is anybody else. That's why, I have a channel here. I just don't agree with them on most things. I think they're liars and that they're wrong about most things, right? Which I can kind of prove that they are. But that's technically not illegal, right? It's technically not illegal, and it's technically not, I wouldn't say it's harmful. But, maybe they see it like what he's saying in this video, that if you increase people's disagreeableness and they lose faith in and I think Obama's talked about this too, lose faith in their elected officials, elected governments, then they see that as a threat or as a problem. So anyway, I thought it was really funny. I told you guys they're watching closely, carefully, all the way up to the top people, and I just think it's fun. I think if we keep everything positive and everything happy, and we're open to different people's opinions, I think that's good. I think that fair play in the game with whatever they want to do, as far as fair and an open debate. I think that's fine. You can't, but for them also, you can't force people to believe one way or another. They have to, or to think one way or another. They have to also make up their own mind themselves. So, and certainly they have unlimited funding, basically, so they can, the game is sort of set in that way. But it's funny that they consider it to be so much of a threat. I don't know why, because I just think it's funny, silly stuff. Anyway, that's it for this video, guys. If you liked it, please thumb it up below. Subscribe at the bottom before you leave, and I'll see you again soon for another video. It's Trev saying peace. Later, guys. See you soon.